What's going on, y'all? I'm Alex Quinn, and this is Hustle Inspires Hustle. I'm here with Ayana Rodriguez. What's going on?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm excited that we're here. We've been trying to plan this for a minute. So
yeah, we
I'm
have.
grateful.
Everything happens when
Yeah.
it's supposed to. I'm a
Yeah.
firm believer in that. So thank you for the patience and thank you for having me and
Of course.
chatting with me today. I'm excited.
I love the business model. I love what you have going on. I wanted to talk about it because I've never chatted with anybody that does what you do. So before we jump into your business, I want to hear all about you. You got Puerto Rican roots. You live in Miami, but you've been in Boston. Tell me a little bit about you and how you got to where you are today.
High level. We'll go fast because there's a lot of years stacked behind that.
I'm sure not.
I was no, truly. I was born in Boston, went to school in California, and have lived in Miami for 25 years. It's been some time. Miami's home, and happy to be here, especially now. It's like, pre all of what is recent, Miami was like the backwater. People used to make fun of being here in Miami. Now everybody wants to be here, so it's kind of cool.
Making fun of Florida people.
Yeah, like, oh, you guys don't know what and now they can't get enough, and they're raising value prices and all this, right?
And traffic. My God.
Oh, forget about it.
Right?
But anyway, happy to be here. It's a good space. And I have 3 kids, and they range from 21. My son is graduating from college this year, so
oh my goodness,
he's going to need a job, so I might push him on you. A 13-year-old and a 9-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So is that what inspired your business?
Absolutely. How'd you guess?
Oh my God. So tell me.
You connected the dots.
How'd that happen?
So Itavi, which is the acronym for It Takes a Village, because we truly believe it takes a village in raising children. Do you have children?
Yeah.
You do? How many? How old? Oh, you're a new daddy.
I am.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's
girl
incredible.
or boy? Congratulations.
Yeah.
Nothing like it.
No.
It changes your life, and I know everybody says that, but for sure, and it just every year, it just adds on, and you're learning new lessons through them. The challenges are the lessons, right? Yeah. And that's part of, actually, I just spoke on that the other day. But, so yes, being a parent of 3, I knew that there had to be a different approach to childcare. And it's a big picture. We could talk hours on how we got to where we are in the market with childcare. It's really tough to crack because, it's based on emotion. Emotion, it's hard for me to understand your background, what trust is to you and where you are emotionally if I don't know you, or how do I target that person. So we really want to put a standard expectation and process to what it should look like and what trust should look like and how we build that. Because it wasn't done. It's always been about connecting and a company being the middle person, but never really taking accountability. And Itavi, we take accountability and we're there for resolve. We minimize risk, 1, through our process, but 2, God forbid, if something should happen, we're going to be there for the resolve.
Right. So was this born out of maybe you needing the service and then not finding it? Was it born out of maybe seeing people in the industry need it, and then you said, oh, I need to bring this to market? What was the inception like?
So I'd like to say I just woke up one day and decided to do a childcare, but that's not how it ever happened.
Okay.
From experience, understanding I had different people in our lives helping throughout time, and it was always a challenging process. It's always, and do you have help for your daughter?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you
But family though.
Okay.
We don't hire out.
Okay. Yeah. So in an environment way back, and Miami tends to be a little bit more closed where we do have family who usually helps. But, as women went back into the workplace long time ago and families started moving away from each other, that's when childcare becomes such an important part of how to resolve and how to navigate that landscape. Before, your sister or your auntie or your grandma, your tia, abuela would be there with your child, raising your child, almost like they become mom, right?
Absolutely.
And that landscape has really shifted over time. And that's where the village comes from. That was our village. And so how do we now have strangers come in and create this village when we don't know them? So for me, it was through experience, through traveling and wanting to go out, because Have you traveled with your daughter yet?
No.
Right. She's still young, so you'll get there. But when you travel with your children, you're spending money to be somewhere. You want a vacation, you want time, and you find that it's your same routine that you do at home, just on the road. And sometimes you're like, oh my goodness, I could have stayed home for this, right? Because they need their nap. They need to still go to bed at a certain time. If you have siblings, they're fighting at the dinner table. And you're like, this is just not fun, right? So parents need a break, but while they're on vacation. So I recognize that as being a need. And in the hotel, we partner with hotels. So our goal is to provide what we do now is how Itavi, our distribution call it, is through hotels for childcare. Parents, a sense of, I'm on vacation, I'm going to have a vacation. I can go out to dinner with my husband or wife or partner or significant other and know my children are too having an experience, because there also comes in, I'm going out, but my kids are stuck in the room and, they're not going to have fun. No. We bring fun through our process, which is our Itavi method, because we want the kids to have an experience. We want something tangible at the end that parents can come back and say, oh my goodness, my kids did all of this activity, and that they had an engagement that they will remember, that they can grow from. Even if, 4 hours, however many hours we're with that family, the children leave happy and healthy and
with an experience
safe.
To share.
Yeah, a memory, a positive memory. I always tell my team, we're in a position where as a child, you can and memories stay with you, right? You can either, even if it's for an hour, they come with us in kids clubs, or you can leave a lasting memory that's either positive or negative with somebody for the rest of their life. Because we start at 4 years old, kids coming into our kids clubs at 4. But we start in-room childcare, which is private childcare. We have babies as young as 6 weeks old,
Wow, okay.
Yeah, some people lie. Because they really want out.
Yeah, he's like, he's 8 months, and you show.
He's 8 months, and I'm like, right.
Show me the birth certificate.
Right, exactly. That's actually how we do it, because people don't remember. They will always mess up on the year, because they'll tell you the actual year. They don't do the math to backtrack, right? Yeah. So you're like, no, this kid is actually a year and a half, not potty trained, and you can tell by the birth year that they give you. Anyway, so, the whole idea is really how to bring it together, give a really cohesive, intentional, meaningful approach to childcare. Okay,
so let's say I don't live in Miami. Alex lives in LA.
Right.
I come with my family to Miami, Fontainebleau. You do business Fontainebleau, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, one of your partners. I arrive and I want to go to Live tonight, which is the club in the lobby.
Right, living your best life.
Living my best life.
Till 5:30 a.m.
Yeah, probably not that. I probably won't make it that far. I call you guys. Walk me through the customer journey.
So it's very seamless. You will either find out about us by the hotel website, or a lot of times the concierge is the main go-to. And our website, you would go to our website, navigate it says book at your hotel. There you'll see Fontainebleau page. And it's a 5-minute online process, which, gives us all the information we need to know in order to be safe, in order to understand the landscape before we join with your family, that your daughter's 8 months old, if she has any allergies, her routine, is she still, in your case, is she being, rebottle feeding, or would you have to call mom for a nursing? All of these to help us really understand what's going to happen and what the expectations are. So we're not arriving on scene and saying, okay.
Trying to figure it out there.
Yeah. Because, you want to have a seamless experience.
Yeah.
So that's sent to us. You complete that. We review it, we staff it, we send a digital invoice with an ID badge of who your childcare professional is, so you know who's arriving, and information about that childcare professional prior. And that's a whole nother segment, how we do that and that whole process, which is very extensive. And you complete it, you're confirmed, we arrive prior to this, so we do 4-hour blocks, let's say, so 6 to 10. No, in your case, because you're going to Live, because live, you can't even get in the door before 11.
12 to like 4.
So, which we do have a lot of, by the way. So we would arrive prior, 15 minutes prior. We let you know we're in the lobby, you meet us, and, you know, we always bring, if she was older, you know, 8 months, we're not doing arts and crafts with her because she's so little, but we might do reading and, you know, mostly a lot of holding, especially at that hour. However, if it's earlier and the kids aren't asleep, we have our Itavi method, which are 5 pillars of an experience that are really important to us because we want to, again, engage the child. I always say we want to leave the child a little bit better than when we enter that space. And that's
brought something new to the table, maybe.
Yeah. So we bring, you know, we have STEM, we have all of, we call it backdoor learning, so that, because when they're on vacation, it's not like we're going to learn our numbers. No, we don't do that. But we might create an art project and you have to count out 10 or your favorite number and match it with your favorite color. All of this in thought process that we've given a lot of thought to with our programming director, who's an educator, to how to really bring skills to the table in a fun way. And so we bring all those materials and the kids have the best time. So they're not like, I want my mom, call my mom, please call my mom, because that's the alternative, right? Because the children they tend to want to be with their parents, right? So we find that if we engage them, they are really, we also are, you know, creating the fun, but we're creating a connection so that they want to be with us. So that way, next time we come, they're excited to see us, and that they feel safe.
Less friction for the parent too, for the kid.
And the parent can be like, I know my child is safe, and we understand different parents have different thresholds. So we say, do you want to be contacted every 15 minutes? Or some parents say, don't call me unless you have to call me, and we respect that too. So
unless
we get the gamut,
apart,
right, and we get that, you know, and luckily, you know, I don't know, we don't have any wood. We haven't had those conversations. But, you know, by engaging the child, we are also minimizing chaos. A child that's bored, that is not engaged, that's not connected, is bouncing off the walls because that's the norm.
Or looking for something to break.
And so that's not fun. That's chaos. And I'd rather, you know, get ahead of that. And so that we don't have chaos in the environment. We also have a no technology, not rule, but policy and what we like to do.
That's cool.
Listen, I'm a mom of 3, as we mentioned. The iPad is always like, here, go on your iPad, go on your iPad.
Way.
Yeah, that's okay for me to do because that's my choice and that's my decision. I'm not paying myself to watch my child. But if I'm engaging in a service, I don't want you to, you know, put my child on the iPad. I want you to have...
That's a half-ass. That's a cop-out.
Yeah. And also then if the child's on the iPad, guess what the person is doing? They're on their phone scrolling. So we eliminate all of that.
Okay.
And our kids clubs as well. We come in, we take out TVs, which I know a lot of hotels don't love. Yeah, we manage and operate kids clubs. So we're at the One Hotel, Aquilina. We partner with the Dolphins during home games, and we curate all their kids programming for players
so cool.
and management. And we're excited because we're moving to Hawaii as well, top of the quarter in 2024.
Like your whole company?
The company is scaling, yes.
Oh my goodness.
Far away.
And what brings you to Hawaii?
We're partnering with a large hotel there.
Okay.
In Maui.
So was it always hotels, or did you kind of like evolve into that?
So that's a really great question. You know, when I first sat down and thought about, I want to get into childcare, how do I do it? Of course, I thought the neighborhoods. But the neighborhood, being on the streets, is a huge acquisition undertaking and capital. You know, how do I market to you when you live X? That's going to be really tough. So the second was, my husband's family has a hotel, is a hospitality business, well established, you know, been doing it for 40 years. So I said, okay, let me identify an alternative way that also needs resolve, and it happens to be hotels. Because their approach has been one in which, for liability, which we deal with a lot, and meeting all those thresholds and what that looks like. So when you sit down and you talk to a Marriott, or, you know, they don't want to touch it because of the headache and the liability, you know. And my perspective and sitting down with, the powers that be, it says, well, here's the deal. The reality is, if something happens on your property, you think the parent is going to go to a no-name little mom and pop organization that sent a babysitter in, that they have no accountability, you don't know exactly what their insurance is, or are they going to go for big pockets, right? Because it's happened on your property. So you're still going to be named in a suit on the sword. So when you want to go with a company, A, who works on minimizing risk, 2, is going to go on the sword first.
Yeah.
And ease that veil for you, So it just makes more logical sense, but then there's also a hurdle in that. So we are slowly changing the tide in that. Exciting.
That's good to see you're pioneering that, though.
Yeah.
And I love the target market because essentially people are coming to you.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Rather than sending people all over the place.
It's a captured audience.
It's right there and they could afford it.
Right.
Which is most importantly, they could afford it.
Right. And that's where we are now. As versions out, I can send a childcare professional to, if they live on the beach or to a hotel as I could the neighborhood. And that's the goal ultimately as we evolve and grow.
So as a parent, I have 2 options. I could have somebody come up to the room and take care of my child in the room, have activities for them, or they could come downstairs or wherever the designated area is in that particular hotel. Is that correct?
And not all hotels have kids clubs, post-COVID. Again, because we have a different approach to managing them, they have actually become profits, and we look at it differently. We share with our hotel partners. Let me just give you this example. Your daughter, she's 8 months, so we couldn't have her in the kids club. But if you're in the kids club, where are you going to go during the day with your wife or partner? You're going to go to the beach, right? Or to the restaurant. You're going to have drinks, right? Well, guess what? That revenue is coming back into their bottom line. You're not going to just have 1 drink. Now you're going to have 2 or 3 drinks because your child is having a great time in the kids club. So there's a lot of ways of how we do bring, a revenue and an experience of building, lasting memories. So your children say, you know what? I remember when my parents brought me to the one hotel. I was 10, 8. We went to the kids club. We had the best time. I want to recreate that for my children.
I love that. And so did you start this pre-COVID?
We launched 2019.
Great time to launch.
November 2019.
No. Oh my God, that must have been stressful.
It was
stressful.
Right after, It was stressful, but it ended up for us because, we were small, so I could adjust. And it actually opened up. COVID was horrendous, don't get me wrong, but it allowed us be able to adapt and to really thrive. And so I had hotels coming to us because we could do it properly. And we learned the new landscape, we incorporated, and then it really, I think, opened a lot of doors for Itavi because a few reasons. One is where people maybe in the past had traveled with their child, their nanny, or they no longer were doing that. They couldn't, right? Because maybe for a host of reasons. So they sought us out more, than they might had in the past. And in our kids clubs, we knew how to really, we masked up. We did all the protocols we incorporated, but we still had fun. Yeah. And so Florida being open during that time.
Yeah, that helped.
Tremendously.
Yeah.
We were in other states. It
probably
would have not.
Thank God you weren't in LA. Thank God you moved here.
Yeah, absolutely right. We actually were launching in San Francisco during that time, and so everything happened.
And
everything happens for a reason. So we're happy to be here. We're thankful. Thank you, Florida.
Talk to me about the method. You said there were 4 pillars to the method.
5. So
5 pillars.
Itavi method. We incorporate exercise, a cultural component. Wherever we are in our backyard, we want children to understand. For example, Miami, we incorporate Spanish, maybe a few words of the day, the animal,
pelicans, whatever,
dolphins, iguanas, what's in our, gators, the whole thing, and depending on that environment, we want children, because they're coming to visit, right? Mm-hmm. So salsa lessons, so they really get to take away a memory of that experience on the ground there. So in Hawaii, we'll probably incorporate a lot of the Polynesian culture, and so it's fun too, and it's memorable.
So for the physical activities, I saw you do yoga.
Yeah. We do yoga, we go outside, we do, sports, we do, because also the yoga part is when children are traveling, and we do that in the room too, actually. And we do it through unique ways. Like maybe we'll bring little balls that are in, material, not plastic, but they're fabric. And you use straws, sustainable straws, and you blow. Well, that's breath work, right? Oh. So we do it in unique ways, because if a child has been traveling, there could be a lot of anxiety with that, adjusting to a different time zone.
Yeah.
All of these to rebalance. And we do them in a way that we're not like, okay, we're going to rebalance you, because that would be weird. But
it's a game. It's an activity, it's a game.
Right.
Okay, not everybody would think about doing it that way, and obviously that's why it's working for you, and that's why all these brands pay attention to you and partner with you and everything. But what made you include that as part of the Itavi method, which is, I guess, mindfulness, working out, breath work, all this stuff, which is extremely important, which everybody should be doing,
right?
Children, adults alike. Is that something that's part of your lifestyle? Is that something that was part of your lifestyle growing up that you felt you wanted to instill into your client base? What made your environment be that way?
That's a really great question. Yes, it is a part of my process. I believe, and I have shared that with my children as well, life gets really busy. Life is really stacked. From the time you'll soon your daughter will be in play groups, mommy and me, and then art class, dance class, and there's a lot to that, right? You're always scheduled, and then it just moves on to being an adult, and then you're overscheduled. So taking some time and moments, my time for me personally is in the mornings. I always take before, everybody has to be up for school and lunch and 20 minutes to just kind of either manifest what I want out of that day, and also run through my calendar myself, and put everything in a perspective of what I want out of that day.
Yeah.
And so with the children,
like, set the intention.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with the children, we're setting the intention of, okay, you've had all this happen earlier, or it's about to happen. You're about to get on a flight to go back to Asia or London or wherever. But here we are right now. Let's be present, and let's take some time to just, adjust and set our intentions. And we don't say, oh, we're setting our intentions, but it's being present. Yeah. So I believe that when we teach that and share that, it helps you resolve. It helps you move through your day in an effective and a sustainable way without getting overwhelmed.
Yeah, and subconsciously, like doing these kids a favor, because maybe a lot of these parents aren't even thinking about that. They may be your client base, they may be looking for some time off or whatever, but they might be really busy. They might not be thinking about these things, and you don't know what you don't know, right?
Right.
I didn't know about this type of stuff before. Everything that you're mentioning to me right now, I do as an adult. But I started doing it as an adult.
Right.
And then we learn. My family has shifted as well. We've taken on different habits, taking time for ourselves, journaling, yoga, Pilates, meditation, whatever the case may be, just a disconnect, reading a book, having a conversation like this. That stuff's really important, because our mind is running all day, going and going and going and going. When you put a pause, you could actually think, instead of just like being in a whirlwind. And when you get to think, you get to solve problems. You get to create new ideas. Maybe like the idea of your business.
Yeah.
Maybe you had that during a thinking session, or maybe during some time off, or maybe during a time where you really wanted to observe. And that's where some great ideas come to light.
Yeah. I mean, and I call them tools. So you just listed a whole bunch: journaling, meditating, exercising, Pilates. Those are all in your tool belt, and you might not do them every day, all of them, but to know that they're there, they're healthy tools. Because otherwise, you tend to self-sabotage, and you go to unhealthy tools, right? And those aren't tools; those are just vices, right?
Yep.
So I believe that it's been very important to, and You asked a question if it came natural, was I raised that way? I think partially, but also as adulting has shown me, and I've chosen. Yeah. They're all choices. Yeah. You know, we can choose healthy tools or we can choose self-sabotaging vices, right? Yeah. And you just get to a point where you're like, you know that there's something better. So what is it? And then you start this search to understand what better is for you. Yeah. And a lot of times I describe better as a different perspective. You know, your perspective is what you learn perspective from your parents and your upbringing. Yeah. And then as you have more experiences, your perspective starts to shift. Mm-hmm. So I feel that you can always gain a new perspective. A new perspective gives you an alternative way to resolve and to be. But you have to want a new perspective and know that you can change your lens, right? So that's really, I mean, these are big concepts. Yeah. And do we really share all of that in 4 hours with a child?
So speaking of intentions, as high school version of yourself, college version of yourself, what was your intention? What did you want to do?
So there were a few different versions. Yeah. One, let's see, the high school version, I've been all over the place. I thought the UN ambassador, foreign service, that was one path I was really interested in at one time. Then I thought in college, I even flew out, I was in college in California, flew out to one of the big financial institutions and I had an interview. I thought I was going to be in finance and that was like a no, not happening. And then I ended up in retail, worked for some really large retail companies, had a children's store in Coconut Grove, a boutique, a high-end boutique.
Nice. I just published a children's book like 2 weeks ago.
That's one of my goals too. Yeah. That's on my list. And congratulations. I want to know what the book that is. Maybe we can incorporate it in our reading portion of our...
Well, let me break it down for you. It's all about Ellie's of respect. During 2020, we were locked up at home around the time you were starting your business, and I was reading a lot of books. And then I started thinking about the little kids in my family. I even started thinking of myself as a kid, and I was like, wow, all these people locked up, maybe watching the news, scared, and all this stuff going on. I'm like, maybe there's a need for a good book for activities for a parent to sit down with a child. They didn't have a child back then.
Right.
But a parent to sit down with a child and read the book and go through activities. So the book is called Polo's Day at the Park.
Wow.
And it's a human takes a puppy to the park, lets the leash go, and the puppy goes to play with the friends. He runs into friends that teach him about respect. Since he's a puppy, he doesn't know. So the friends are kind of mentoring him, different animals, teaching him respecting yourself, respecting friends, respecting nature, respecting people's jobs. So he goes through a storyline, the puppy learns, and then at the end, there's a coloring book, there's activity pages, there's a pledge that the kids make, they pledge to respect, there's mazes, it's like an 85-page book, softcover, hardcover, and the point was for a parent to sit down with the child and read the book, because when I was a kid, I would read a lot of books when I spent time by myself.
Right.
And they made a big difference for me, and I guess maybe that's part of where a lot of my creativity comes from. So I felt it was cool, and I'm in the media, I'm in content. I own a marketing company. So we're graphic designers, we're creators, and we took it on as a team project. Let's put something positive out there. Not thinking about money, not thinking about anything related to that, at least at first, but let's just put something positive out there. So that's what we did. We recently launched. It's been doing great. And one of our main purposes is locally in Miami, because we help a lot, to underprivileged families that, single moms that potentially can't afford to buy a book like this, or, don't have any extra change, be able to kind of be a role model in the industry. I have the podcast, I have Hustle Inspires Hustle, which a ton of people listen to and learn from and, have been able to build careers off of, but also grabbing kids from when they're young. Yeah. So that's why I really loved about your business when I heard about it and it was brought to me, because I'm like, this is super cool. It's not just, come watch my kid. It's like, no, these are conscious people. These are people that care. These are people that are treating it like it's their own. And they understand that maybe all the negatives that need to be overturned about the industry.
Right.
And that's why all these major companies that are partnering with you understand the vision. And you're also very responsible towards where you understand the liabilities. And you said, we're the ones that take the sword first. We understand what it's like, and we're willing to take a risk like that to bring something new to the market.
Right.
And these are the type of things that we like to highlight on the podcast. So it's really cool to see what you're doing.
No, thank you. And thank you for sharing. And we definitely want to incorporate your book during our reading time. So that's great. Yeah. You have all these kids clubs. I think that would be fantastic. Yeah. So, I think in that process, a few things. You know, it's turning the tide for a lot of the stakeholders, the hotels, the parents, the childcare professionals, which we never really talked on, which primarily are women. It's 99.1% of our team is made up of women. And it's been such a...
It'd be weird with a bunch of dudes taking care of
You know what? Not... Yes
I wouldn't leave
and
my
no.
kid.
You know what's so interesting? I'm going to share a few things with you. One is that what we have noticed is that the majority of the parent who actually complete the intake form and inquire about our service are the dads. However, we're still in a society that majority always ask, are they women? Childcare professionals. Parents want a female childcare professional to be with their children. We have had men, and they've been tremendous. We have some great men a part of Itavi, and they help us. We do pop-ups. We do a lot of different activations of our programming in different environments, mostly at hotels, but maybe by the pool deck, things like this. And we have men who join. However, we have had pushback with them being in the room childcare one-to-one service. So that's not normally a path for them.
Yeah.
However, at the same token, I have placed, because I do placement too, for permanent childcare, men with families for, permanent childcare. So there is a mix of that. However, childcare professionals as a whole has been such an underserved industry, a professional market. And our goal, one of my goals, really when I started this, was how do we elevate this group of people? How do we elevate this profession? So a few key things. I don't call them babysitters. I've used the term
childcare professionals
because that's what they are.
Yeah.
They have extensive experience. They're not, an 18-year-old.
It's like a teacher. You don't call them a babysitter. Yeah, they're an instructor. They're a teacher. Yeah.
Right. So they come to the table with experience because then they also will have the understanding of how to resolve versus somebody without the experience and, the time put in, it's going to be a disaster, or it could be a disaster if things don't go right. So that's one. And also mobility. We pay the highest in the environment and the market because they're doing the work and they deserve to be paid. And I want to alleviate that pressure. We're offering healthcare. We really want to promote this group of people who like taking care of other people's children because it's not easy, one. And two, it's very hard to find people who do it because they love to do it. There's a passion. So that should be rewarded and also elevated. So that they continue to do that.
It's important that you think about that because so many times we put so much pressure on the people that help us teach our kids. Let's say, for example, teachers. But then you see teachers don't get paid well.
Right.
So, what's up with that?
Right. I have a lot of teachers, actually, because they don't get paid well in the education system. So join us.
And they get not only don't they get paid well, they get overworked.
Right.
And they get mistreated.
Right. There's a whole host. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So we're serving that market too because there has to be a bridge. It has to be better in that environment as well. And there has to be value placed on our childcare professionals. And I would say, families are like, oh, you charge so much. Well, A, we're probably not the right person for you then if that's the case. But two, not for nothing, and I'm not trying to have to tell you how to spend your money, but those shoes you're wearing, but you're not...
Those Balenciagas you're wearing.
But you don't want to pay for the person who's watching your child?
Yeah.
That, to me, is like...
priorities.
So, but when you bring it down, you're like, oh, yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
If I'm telling you I'm offering you A through Z, and I'm taking on all the risk, and I'm giving you all of this service to make sure your child is not only good, but amazing, there's a value there.
Yeah. That's like me with clients at my marketing agency when they find out how much I charge. I'm like, I just made you $1.5 million last month.
People don't want to pay for services.
Why are you crying?
Right. People don't want to pay for services. There's a mentality there to it. You
got to have a growth mentality.
Yeah. So, but those are, back to childcare professionals. It's really important to us that we continue to grow. We offer ongoing training because we want our childcare professionals to grow.
Oh, like seminars, courses, books.
Yeah. You know, and as we grow, I want to see this base grow with Itavi as well. So you know, there's going to be opportunity there too, because our team deserves to be a part of the success of this company.
Can't wait to see your book one day.
Yeah.
And this method just gets rolled out.
I don't know if the book is going to be about this. I have a whole nother thing what I want the book to be about. Actually, before this, I wanted to actually pursue that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's a different topic.
It's a long process. I published my first one called the Digital Marketing Dictionary. It's the first digital marketing print dictionary in the world.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. You are a true hustler. I like that.
It's not just me. I have a team, and we work really well together. We work fast, and we train a lot. Now we're coming up on our third book. It's called The Digital Marketer Survival Guide. Wow. Somebody that wants to learn digital marketing for products or services end to end. It's a whole entire textbook.
That's great.
So it's part of the business. You have to educate yourself to be able.
Do you give classes too?
I do keynote speeches. I've done keynote speeches with Microsoft, with Florida International University, with Puma, with several brands.
Right.
So yeah, I do that. High schools and stuff like that.
That's fantastic. Yeah. We could probably use some tips.
Yeah. So where can we find you on social? Where are you most active? Where can we learn more about you?
So we're really active on social. You know, our website, itavikids.com, is always a tremendous resource. We're also on Instagram. We share a lot of what we do and how we do it on Instagram. You know, we're also on YouTube. You get to see some of our segments that we've created, and we're doing more. I'm actually creating some series, just sit-downs with myself on, you know, women in business and just process and tools, back to those tools that I have found that have worked for me, and I don't have all the answers. I'm still learning. However, if I can share some ingredients of what has worked, I think that that's part of our responsibilities, and I wish people had or continue to do that do that in the environment, because you have to pay it forward. You have to share. I learn all the time. You talk about books. How this actually all came to me was through a book that I read on a plane. It's called The Go-Giver. And it was tremendous. An easy book, business, but it's about sharing too.
Go-Giver.
It's incredible.
We're going to link that in the show notes, y'all. The Go-Giver, Itavi as well, the website, your social medias. Are you active yourself?
Itavi Kids, yeah.
Okay. So listen, this is a brand new concept we brought to the podcast. We've never talked about something like this, which is exactly why I wanted to talk about it.
Thank you.
You're in Miami. We're both in Miami. Helping the kids is very important. We do have a segment of the podcast who are in high school and college listening. So you'd be surprised. Most of our listeners are 25, 45, but we do have the younger crowd. It's always important to tap into the younger crowd.
Absolutely.
These are the people that are going to lead our future. These are going to be the people that are going to be in charge of our cities, commissioners, mayors, presidents.
Right.
So I love what you're doing. I love it.
Thank you.
I love how you're incorporating with hospitality. Genius move. You guys, you know, your family's in that. Your husband's family's in that too. So I know there's synergies there. Can't wait to share more about it. Okay. Listen, y'all. hustleinspireshustle.com/podcast. You're gonna find this episode. If you guys want to learn more, check out their website. Give them a follow. I'm sure you're active on social media. If parents have questions.
Yeah, you can, either Itavi Kids, it's on social, or my personal, Ayana Rodriguez.
Ayana Rodriguez. Where are you most active? Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter?
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah, I'm learning to be. I'm not as social. I haven't been in the past, but I'm becoming more so.
It's okay. Alrighty, y'all. You heard it. This is Alex Quin, Ayana Rodriguez.
Thank you.
Hustle Inspire Social Podcast. Catch you on the next one.